Hi, I am. And we are live. This is live from T-Bags Ostrava, and this is our Feature Friday. Today, this is lovely Jean.
Hi everyone.
And she's joining me, and so I don't have to fiddle around today with the camera trying to invite someone in. We can go straight into the topic, and today it's a no-brainer that we will be talking about networking, because that's why we are here for. I don't know if you're familiar with T-Bags. That's a massive event that goes around the world and connects travel bloggers and travel tourism. So there are a lot of brands out there, and there are a lot of bloggers that come and do networking. They listen to sessions. Mine was this morning. Did you like it?
I loved it. It gave such good takeaways.
And I didn't bribe her. And so today I want to pick Jean's brain, because I know she is a very good networker. And Jean, you love to talk to people in person.
I do. I'm such a person-to-person chit-chatter.
Yeah.
By this time tomorrow, I'll actually have no voice, because I will spend so much time talking to people, finding out their story, connecting them to other people who have a similar story or can help them develop or create really good content. So for me, coming to an event like T-Bags is a lot of fun, because I love the face-to-face interaction, and also the way of actually meeting people and going, hey, this is you, this is me, this is what I look like, this is who I am, because I just don't think you quite get that over social media.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because I know you from Facebook, and meeting you now in person, I'm like, oh, no, she's exactly how she is on social media. But that is also the point that we were discussing last night, because we had a little chat over beer and wine.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm probably the worst representative from Australia to be here, because I don't drink beer, I don't talk about cricket or any of those other kind of mainstream topics.
Just as a side note. But what we talked about was that it actually sometimes is a real surprise when you meet people in person that you only know from Facebook or their Instagram, because what happens is many people believe that they have to be an ideal version of themselves online, and then they sell themselves as this cute looking princess in these remote places, and everything is fairy tale. And then you meet them and they're just, slobby, like, I don't know, baggy pants, and yeah, it's just it can work. But I think it is a lot more exhausting for the person who tries to be or to fake a different identity. And also it doesn't really come across natural, and your audience will notice. So eventually they spot that, oh, this was acting, that's not her or him. So I think you probably, in all the events that you're organizing with Travel Massive, you have come across a few little funny characters, and maybe you can share a funny story about that.
Just find some family-friendly ones. The next conversation will be safe for work, if anyone is still at work listening at the moment. So one of the biggest things that we find within my role as a chapter leader for Travel Massive, and certainly being a travel blogger myself, is just, as Julia was saying, the perception that people have of themselves. So people spend a lot of time curating the perfect Instagram feed, the perfect Twitter feed, making sure that their Facebook accounts are perfect. You're here, you're having a great time, and are just amazing, and you are, we're really proud of what you're doing. But it's when you turn up to an event and that's not who you actually are. If you're there saying, I'm really outgoing, I love adventures, I'm going to climb a mountain, which is something that I personally love doing, and then I start to have that conversation with you, and I'm like, hey, well, let's go together, we'll go on a trip, we'll make some content, we'll have an amazing time, and then someone goes, no, I don't pee in the bush. And I don't eat that, and I don't eat this, and I don't do that. And then in the back of your mind you go, but I've seen this on your Instagram. I've seen you do this and this and this, and that's my perception of you. And the biggest problem with that is, other than it's just, fake it till you make it till you're an idiot, when you get to that situation and that person, and you're in a real life networking situation, it just dissolves any kind of trust that I've had. And And you might say, well, what does it matter if Jean doesn't trust me? Well, Jean might be here representing a brand. Or the person that you've just had coffee with over lunch might also be representing a brand that you actually really want to work with, and that just hasn't come out in conversation yet. And when it does come out that, you know, you've presented yourself as amazing, adventuresome, you know, having a great time, and you're actually really quite shy and awkward, and you actually don't enjoy any of those activities, that's when you just lose all authenticity and trust with your audience and with the community and brands. And it can just be, it's quite a serious issue that a lot of people don't realise and they don't take action on soon enough.
Yeah, so credibility counts, and you should, put that high up on your to-do list. Be credible. And I think it's a very interesting point, because people use the term of digital bubble, and I think we are all those influences, if we want to use that term. I don't actually like it, I hate it, but we do influence. Everyone does, as soon as you put content out there, and that's also when your responsibility starts to only put things out there that you really 100% stand for. I think she described it very, very good. I don't have to add on to this. So let's dig a little bit more into that networking aspect. I mean, aside from the obvious Facebook groups where you hang out and can connect with travel bloggers, but other niches as well, how do you recommend, if you are a blogger out there and you want to find real connections, like events like this is a good way to start? Do you have any recommendations?
Travel Massive is a great place to start with. We've currently got 44,000 members in 180 cities. So, there's generally going to be an event somewhere where you are, but it's also finding similar platforms. A lot of people I know have success with meetup groups. Again, these are generally free to attend. It does sort of give you a very different approach if you're paying to attend. There are workshops that you can attend. There are multi-day conferences like TBEX and WTM and all those kind of events as well. But if you don't have your basic networking skills down pat, you're almost doing a negative investment in yourself. So not only financially are you wasting your money by going to these events and not quite being prepared or being able and willing to have the face-to-face connection with people, you're also just going to damage a lot of your self-confidence, because you're not going to walk away with a great deal with a brand or a tourism board, or have made those connections that are really important.
So what are the basics of networking then?
The first thing is, don't ask me how much money I make.
Why not? That's so interesting.
It's really interesting, and I'm always quite happy to talk about how I make money. I make a decent enough money. It keeps my coffee habit going. But it's being really aware of, first of all, how you present yourself, and ensuring that your outfit is correct for the audience that you are going for. And you have to go, what am I projecting to everybody around me? If you turn up and you've got, your tidy-whities on and a wife beater sort of singlet top, you're probably not going to get that 5-star hotel. The Western and Cayman Islands who have been here today, they're not going to, want to work with you, because if you can't present yourself properly here, how are you going to represent their brand later on down the track? It doesn't matter about your stats or your audience. When you're doing your face-to-face networking, that first impression really can be an absolute killer, or it can be a matchmaker. The other thing is, be prepared to talk to people, and be prepared to talk to people who are on their own. So a good example is in Melbourne, there's a really big conference that's for conference holders and event managers that I went to. It's got a lot of hotels, and walking around and just saw someone standing by themselves. Went up, had a conversation. He ended up being the director of a very large investment firm who runs some of Australia's top luxury lodges.
Okay.
I now have a lifelong relationship with them. And it was just as simple as going up, introducing myself, how are you going, what are you doing here, where is your position within this situation, and just having a really nice conversation. No sales pitch, no, how do you do this? You know, no, what can I get from you?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, let's actually have a human connection. And I think that certainly travel bloggers and content creators, we miss that. We spend so much time on the road, we have such fleeting moments of contact with other people that we forget how important it is to build that relationship and to take that further. We know how to do it with our audience, and we curate ourselves for our audience to enjoy. And we just have to remember that in real life, we need to do the same thing. You know, curate how we are presenting ourselves with our message to an actual person. And it can be a bit daunting because people may call you out on it. People may say, no, that's not what I want. They may call bullshit on you. There's all these kind of things that might happen. But until you have that initial conversation face to face, you're just never going to know. So it's really pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone as well.
I was just going to use that word because it's so perfect. I'm sure there are many out there thinking the same thing, that, oh, how am I going to do that? But it's like with everything in life, it's this initial step, and once you've done it the first time and you actually notice it's not that
scary.
Not that scary, and we're all humans.
And the worst that someone will say to you is no.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
It might hurt your feelings, but it's not physically going to hurt you.
No.
And then you just go, well, okay, you said no, but the next person might say yes.
No, that's true. And I think we leave it for like this for now, unless you want to give another general recommendation for...
My main tip is just to brush your hair, wear deodorant, and get out there and just talk to people.
That's a good tip.
Go out, be yourself, enjoy what you do, because if you're coming out to these network events, you've already made it.
Yeah.
You're there, just continue going on.
That's a very great advice, and so lovely to meet you in person after such a long time. I feel like, yeah, it's wonderful. So if you are watching us and or watch the replay and you're here at T-Bex, make sure you knock on our shoulders. We don't bite. And yes, thank you so much for taking your time and sharing your advice. And that's it for our Feature Friday today. If you want to join me on another Feature Friday somewhere down the road, then PM me or leave a comment below this video. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. And that's it from T-Bex Australia from our side.
Lovely.
Bye. Bye.